parts of the cattail plant are edible? How are they prepared before basket weaving? What seasons are good for harvesting? How can cattails make primitive fire, arrows, and mats? Do you know what herbal remedies they can make? Learn about all this and more on today's episode. Welcome to Writing Rule with Allie, the fiction writer's weekly inspiration station for rural life and lifestyles. From historical to post-apocalyptic, helping you bring your rural stories to life. I'm Allie, and this is episode number 78. Many uses for cattails in your story. Stick around to the end to find out all the ways things could possibly go wrong. Before we start this week's episode, I want to answer all of the questions about what happened and where I vanished to. To make it short, an elderly family member that we care for had a medical emergency that sent them to the ICU. Unfortunately, they did not make it. With this being so very close to the other deaths earlier this year, my kids just needed me to be here with them. And now that you're all caught up, let's get into this. Cattails have been part of Native American culture for as long as anyone knows, and likely since caveman times. While I think of it as a Native American thing, cattails are actually found on every continent except Antarctica. They grow in wetlands, near bodies of water, and in moist areas, such as the ditch. At least they grow in my ditch. Some people call them an invasive species, even in places where cattails are native. This is because once they take hold, they can overgrow an area and overtake the other plant vegetation. Not only that, but they can take over a pond as they can grow into water up to 2 feet deep. Many people with a pond are known to try to kill them off or uproot them and move them to other places, or not there at all. Uprooting these plants has to be done by hand, so your character will be wet or wearing some kind of rain boots or fishing bibs. Basically, think of farmer's bibs and then make them rubber, and they are attached to the boots with no seams that let the water in. Around here, we call them waders, sometimes chest waders. There are many things that cattails are good for. These include, but are definitely not limited to, food, fire starter, garden mulch, baskets, floor mats, bedding, insulation, diapers, feminine products, stuffing, twine, hats, cotton balls, fire torches, arrow shafts, hand drills for starting fires, pond erosion control, glue, kindling, feed for livestock, a privacy fence, toothache treatment, and much, much more. There are several parts of the cattail: the root, the rhizome, male pollen, female seeds, flower head, leaf blades, and the stalk. Sometimes these are called other things during different seasons, at least locally. For example, when it is a young plant and first growing, the stalk is called a young shoot, and the white part is cut to eat, while the leaves around it are dried and used to make things like basket weaving. When there is pollen on the male pollen, it is normally called the pollen, or the thingamawhacker with the pollen on it. And when there is no pollen, it's called the top of the stalk. And frankly, I only know of the online stuff calling it the male pollen, but you get the idea. Each part is used for different things. The rhizomes can be dried out and ground into flour. The pollen can be collected in brown paper bags or even Ziploc bags and used as a flour substitute. The pollen is high in vitamins and minerals. Another good thing is that if your character has a disease like celiac disease, it is safe for them to use as a flour substitute, as it does not contain gluten. As it contains no gluten. Roots are a great carbohydrate and can be harvested any time of year. New shoots are harvested in early spring and can be eaten raw or cooked. They are high in vitamins. I know the seeds can be eaten, but I've got to admit I have no idea how. That said, the seeds are attached to the cattail fluff. If you have never seen cattail fluff, you most definitely should Google it and get a video. When slight pressure is applied to the brown head, it looks like it is vomiting a never-ending amount of fluff. Each cattail head produces 200,000 seeds with fluff attached to each, so they can be carried on the wind to grow in new places. Normally, less than 10 of these heads can fill a small pillow. This fluff is often used as an alternative to goose down and is used as an insulation for clothing and even homes. The young flowers, which is basically the brown part that looks like a hot dog on a stick, but while it's still green, is great to eat. They taste like corn on the cob, and everyone I know and everything I see online says to cook it the same. I have done this and it tastes great, especially with a little butter. Cattails are most common for baskets and as a food source. This is true in history and today, and will be in the apocalypse. One side note for modern and any zombie apocalypses: cattails soak up toxins from water and ground sources. Your character will need to be careful of this. Well, unless you want to make a radioactive mutant or poison your character. The same note, it is very likely that your character will need to get into the water to harvest, destroy, or even use cattails as a natural cover for an ambush or theft. This comes with a few dangers, such as if there's anything in the water that could hurt the person. In my area of the world, this would be the water moccasin snake, also called a cottonmouth snake, and the snapping turtles. In other areas, this could be other animals, leeches, predators hiding in the reeds of both the 2- and 4-legged varieties. In modern and post-apocalyptic, man-made dangers can lurk, such as wire or broken glass. Now, let's go over a few things that you should know about some of the more common things. For baskets, there's a bit of a process to make them. You see, after these leaves are harvested during the growing season, so any time before they turn brown, they are cut close to the base of the plant. They are separated from the stalks. These will be anywhere from 3 to 10 feet long and will be 1/2 inch to 1 inch wide. The leaves are then left out to dry. This usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks. My father told me that if they had smaller numbers, such as a single project, so about 10, they would sometimes slowly move them through a fire to help dry them out faster. This will make a popping sound as they are moved through the flames. This can be done a few times and then left out to dry for about a week. After they are all fully dry, they will need to be sized. This can be done by people who have done this for a long time with just their eyes and a knife. These people have usually done this with their parents since they were tiny. For others, they find a tool that has the size they want them to be, and 2 cutting blades facing the same direction. They will then pull the reeds, what the leaves are called, through the cutting device. Then they will be soaked until pliable. I know it sounds weird to me. They will be tied in a bundle to the amount that your character needs. This can be a few bundles if there's a village of people, but they don't want more than they're going to use in a day, so that the reeds do not risk growing mold or mildew. My Native American grandmother said that they bundled them and placed them weighted down in the river or pond for what I believe she said was about 10 minutes, but I was young when she passed away, and so it could have been longer. In modern times, I see many people who wet a towel, wrap the towel around the bundle of reeds, then wrap a tarp around that, and will leave them to soak for 4 hours. I personally never tried this method. Once they are pliable, they are ready to be pulled out, or, if in a towel, pulled out one at a time, and woven into a basket. Pliable just means that they are flexible enough to weave, but they do not break easily. Also, cutting the leaves into fine pieces and doing the same method that is used for the basket weaving will make a twine that can be used for many things. Primitive fire torches are made by taking the stalk with the brown cattail head on it and dipping the head fully into melted animal fats or something similar, then left out to dry. This makes a great primitive torch and was used for deer hunting at night by the Native Americans, and even many settlers learned this technique from them. The stalks of the cattails, when dried, are fairly straight and have been used as arrow shafts since arrows were invented. They have also been used to make trellises for the garden plants to grow on. Now, the cattail shaft and the shoots before things turn brown can be cut at the base, and the leaves will be removed and smashed just a little bit because on the inside is a gel. It is also found in young shoots by stripping the leaves off and your character running their hands along the shoot. This is an aloe type of gel and has been used for burns such as first degree or sunburns, and it is also used by tribes to relieve tooth pain. It has also been used as an antiseptic gel. Now that it is used to this day as erosion control. Cattails can help hold the soil. This helps to keep places from turning boggy, but it is also used to keep the edges of ponds from eroding away and letting the ponds go dry. Something I have used myself. It does require a little maintenance to keep the pond from being overwhelmed. Also, dried brown cattails are great as animal bedding. The fluff is perfect for chickens, rabbits, ducks, geese, and other small animals, and even baby animals born late in the year or maybe early in the year. Of course, there are more things cattails can be used for, but this covers the basics of cattails. Fun fact. In Nevada, cattail mats were found that dated back 10,000 years and had not decomposed. Before we get into the best part, if you enjoy this podcast, I hope you'll take a minute to follow, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting platform. If you're enjoying this content, stick around after this episode for a sneak peek. And now for everyone's favorite part. Likely to go wrong. Your character slices their hand open trying to pull a cattail leaf from the plant. These leaves can be sharp if not handled correctly, and it is best to use a knife or hand sickle to cut them instead of pulling. Also likely to go wrong. Your character is harvesting cattails and is bitten by mosquitoes many times in the process. Cattails are a wetland plant and are more likely to be around mosquitoes than most plants. Possible to go wrong. Your character tries to use dried cattail leaves to make a basket after the apocalypse. However, they don't know to wet them to make them pliable, and instead break the stiff, dry leaves trying to make it work. This is very common with first-time learners. Also possible to go wrong. Your character tries to use fresh leaves to weave a basket. The wet leaf will be harder to work with, and the weave can be loose. As the leaves start to dry, there will be shrinkage that can make them come undone. It is also at a greater risk of getting mold. Unlikely to go wrong. Your character is harvesting cattails, and they encounter a venomous water snake. This could be deadly. Also unlikely to go wrong. Your character knows nothing about when to cook the cattail head and does so when it is brown. Instead of getting the food they hoped for, they get a mouthful of cottontail fluff. This has been known to choke people and has been used as a cruel joke by some people. Also unlikely to go wrong. Your character learns the hard way that they're allergic to cattails. While this is a very rare allergy, it has happened. Improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character is harvesting cattail reeds and finds themselves in an ambush. Cattails have been the cover for invaders and thieves for centuries. Also improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character uses a cattail shaft as an arrow shaft. However, they didn't inspect it well, and when they shoot it, the shaft breaks, sending it into their arm like a giant splinter. Also improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character is using a cattail as a fire torch, but they didn't know to first dip it in animal fats. When they light it, the head starts to send out the seeds, and they catch on fire before being blown in the wind. This could easily cause a forest fire. Also improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character is harvesting cattails and encounters a jaguar that is hiding in the reeds. This could be deadly. Thanks for listening. And for those wanting a sneak peek, I have a special Black Friday offer that I will leave open for the entire month of November. Details will be coming soon. Until next time, happy wordsmithing!